So last Kanuruddha, actually the best to use these hours.
I believe for because we have our Dhamma school, which has about 70 children, plus there's some other.
So is it a good idea, or do you have any other better thoughts? Start with you about the idea of mindfulness, or how to be mindful in your life. I mean, is it a good thing for us to... Any other suggestions from children? Still another elderly person is talking. I'd like to hear some voice from children. Both of them are suggesting about meditation, mindfulness or meditation. So is it welcome, or that is there any more better ideas from children? Here are some questions so that the children, so we can start a little rapport, little a dialogue. Am I allowed to ask questions? Okay. Those who are attending to these Sunday schools and learning the Buddhism, can someone come out and say what is the main teaching of the Buddha? What is the crux of the ideas? The main teaching is that the Sunday school teachers will feel ashamed. Anyone can give any sharing, any idea? The person can help me. What is the main teaching of the Buddha? Leaving aside the children, I'll take little time for children to get warm up. Suggestion came that is the ultimately attaining Nibbana after a good life. So that is the main teaching of the Buddha. So if it is so, one may ask that those who are not aiming for the Nibbana in this very life have nothing to share in Buddhism. Really made up their mind to become enlightened in this life, they can strive. But if this is the main message of the Buddha, what about the others? So not to do bad things, and to do good things and purification of the mind. So, what is the good and what is the bad? How can you define? Because something what you call good and bad in this society will be differ back in Sri Lanka or in another Asiatic country. So now it is it's a subjective matter of what is good and what is bad. Because that not to do evil and to do good is a generally accepted principle. But the thing is, for children, specifically those who are migrating from one culture to the other, they are having a cultural shock, and they find difficult to comprehend the good and the bad, just and the unjust, into cultures. Under such circumstances, how much the Buddhism helped them to come up to a agreeable norm, good and the bad. Another idea, that is the Noble Eightfold Path, that's the way leading to Nibbana. That way also we can take it as one of the teaching of the Buddha, that teaching how to select the good and how to select the bad, and leave aside the bad, and Noble Eightfold Path also kind of a presentation of the teaching of the Buddha. Some other more ideas? The elders are talking, the children are reserved. I am also going into that. I went through some of the books, specifically written by the Pali Text Society, Rees Davis and others. They studied the whole Tipitaka, and not only that, they studied Pali and translated into English. Ultimately, they found they can't reduce the Buddhism into one nutshell. There's so much of ideas. Noble Eightfold Path, the good and the bad, and the Noble Eightfold Path, Sila Samadhi Panya, the restrainment regarding the morality, concentration and training, wisdom training, or understanding about the greed, hatred and the ignorance, or performing generosity and see the morality and the meditation, like as many facets. So ultimately they told very difficult to put into one single concept. So it is good and the bad, because when we are learning, specifically at the Sunday schools and or Buddhism as a subject, very difficult to say that I have thoroughly studied Buddhism, because there are many facets. So therefore, you have to keep on practicing, keep on, learning through your whole life. But now I have been about 30 or more years in practice, meditation. The answer is very simple. Theoretically knowing, theoretically so much of concepts, so much of ideas, so much of fields, but in practical sense, when you apply yourself, it's one single term. I don't know whether you have given such value for that. It is called appamada, the diligence. The whole teaching you can put into the appamada, the term appamada. That means translate into the diligence. And sometimes synonym find as sati, that is being translated as mindfulness. Or therefore, when you are putting the whole Buddhism into the practical side, you can put everything into this mindfulness or appamada. That is what usually we generally call as meditation. So while you are learning Noble Eightfold Path, learning the good and the bad, or the final aim of Nibbana, or Four Noble Truths, or 3 kinds of trainings and everything in the practical sense can be reduced to mindfulness or to diligence. So now I would like to ask a question from the audience. What is the definition? What is the meaning of mindfulness? What is the meaning of diligence? Can anyone come out with a definition? Meaning of mindfulness? Word meaning of mindfulness? Yes? Awareness and equanimity. So the 2 ideas came, the controlling the mind, the other one is the awareness and the equanimity. Here and now. Be here and now, the third idea. Any more suggestions or definitions to the mindfulness? I can't hear. Focus on the present. Yeah, that is be here and now. So yes, it is also yet another way of presenting, focusing on the present moment. Be here and now. Awareness and in addition to that, 2 more came, the controlling the mind and the equanimity. For the moment, I keep it aside, but these suggestions go more parallel with. The mindfulness means be here and now, be aware of the present moment and focus on the present moment. On that sense, are we mindful? It is Buddhist or non-Buddhist, with the parents or children, whether you learn Buddhism or not. And then what about the practical sense? Are we mindful? Are we aware of the present moment? Most of the time not. Then who is responsible? Not being mindful. So individual, each one. That means we can come out with 2 suggestions. One thing is, we are not really appreciating the being mindfulness. And the second thing is, we don't know how simply to be here and now, due to a lot of distractions. So that may be the reason why some came out and say that shall we use these 2 hours to understand this mindfulness, to understand this meditation, to understand this, the diligence. So, how do you think it is a good idea to go into mindfulness more in deep? What the children? Do you appreciate that? No sounds. Go full silence. Yeah, any Sunday school teachers here? So now how can I proceed? I need a dialogue, I need a rapport, I need a discussion. Otherwise I may be misleading you. Everyone. We go into the idea of mindfulness, or do you have any other good topic to ponder into? The questions or any other queries regarding this subject of mindfulness, or away from that, feel suitable for this moment. A school also do the children practice for at least for a few minutes of sitting meditation? No. Approval or any seconding or any other suggestion? Pardon me? I am always trying my best. I am asking whether you all also happy with me to go. Yeah. Then first of all, I will keep on asking to get the subject up. The meaning of mindfulness. So far we came to know the keeping the mind here and now, be aware of the focus on the present moment, is the definition of mindfulness. And the diligence is yet another synonym for the mindfulness, and the opposite of the diligence is quite familiar, that is negligence. For most of the most of the day-to-day activities, we are quite familiar with the negligence. So that is why the failures, the disappointments and the discouragement and everything, we can simply attribute to the negligence. So we have to, whenever we get rid of negligence, we arrive at diligence, that is, we can define, be here and now. The negligence, definitely we say, if we delay to something to do, it is due to our negligence. If we are not doing something good, that is also amount to be negligence. But I would like to add yet another part to the term negligence. You must not be neglecting to do good things. That's one definition. The other part, what I would like to do is, you must not be negligent not to do bad things. So when these two happens, that definition of understand the good and the bad come into being. That usually the negligence is defined that we are negligent and delayed to do good things. That is, we call as far as the generosity, as far as helping others, as far as compassion, we consider they are good things. So we must not negligent towards that. We must be dutiful in be generous and mind compassionate, loving kindness to others. But most of the time, we don't take seriously not to do bad things. That is, not to kill, not to steal, not to have a sexual misconduct, not to do verbal misdeeds. Therefore, in the very general level, generosity and the good thing come as to do good things without negligence. But the sila, or the observance of precepts and moral conduct, is not going to come under the subject of not to do. You must not be negligent not to do bad things. And that is how the moral life come into being. The definition of the moral life is, you are diligent in doing good things and also diligent in not doing bad things. So the question is, out of these two, diligently doing good things and diligently not doing bad things, which is more valuable according to the measurement of the Buddha? Not doing bad things is the suggestion came. But in that sense, are we responsible? We serious about that, because when you come to the temple and go to the Sunday school and everything, the teachers and the monks and everyone will let you know and teach you what are the good things to do. And therefore, to be a good boy or a good girl, you become generous and you do loving kindness and the compassionate thing and attentive to the parents and children, parents and the teachers' advices. But as far as not doing bad things, there is the big point. Not only the Sunday school children, but even the parents, even the citizens, general citizens, they are not giving the priority, not giving the proper value in not to do bad things. So that is the point. One has to be very seriously understand. That is why the Buddha says, more than the dana, the generosity, sila is in the higher grade. Sila is that not doing bad things. To elaborate further, to do good things, you have to go to some places, you have to have money, you have to have some other party and all the kind of thing. So it costs something. But not to do bad things costs nothing. Need not to go any place, but the Buddha says it is high grade, immeasurable amount of merits you can gain diligently, not doing bad things. Whenever you have an opportunity to kill an animal, you are remembering your precepts, you do away with that. You be mindful, be diligent, not to kill. Whenever to misappropriate something or serve yourself, when it happens, you remember, you come to the diligence and not to take something ungiven and not to trespass as far as the moral code or sexual misconducts are concerned. And harsh words, the lying, slandering, tale carrying, and it is happening very in a quick and frequent way. So if you are diligent over there, you are naturally become disciplined regarding two words. And out of these two also, the physical misdeeds, the killing, stealing and sexual misconduct are very gross. But verbal misdeeds are the most weak points in our life. So that is the point we lose our marks towards the diligence. So therefore, one has to be very careful in talking. And in the retreats, meditation retreat, there are a lot of signs and requests not to talk. To keep the noble silence, because when we are talking often, we sometimes talk exaggeration and sometimes too harsh. Sometimes without knowing, telling someone's mistake to another person, it can be exploited in a bad way. And that is ultimately whatever the good things you are going to do, like generosity and loving kindness and the compassionate action, it will be undermined by these verbal misdeeds. So there you have to be more diligent, more mindful in verbal action rather than the physical action. And then you will understand in a society, whatever may be, whether it's Western or whether it is Eastern, religious or non-religious, there are some people, they are already very precautious, very diligent, very mindful not to do bad things. And that is the measurement for culture. That's a measurement for gentleness. That's a measurement for feeling for others, other psychologies. So therefore, if you keep not to do bad thing as a mark of diligence, you will be uplifted. You will be cultured. You will become a gentle. But it is kind of a heavy involvement. Your psychology is fully involved, subjective matter. Not like giving something or not like giving some material. This is the diligence in a much practical way. But still, as far as the teaching of the Buddha is concerned, this command as a moral conduct. This is called the morality. This is called the moral responsibility. That is to say, not to hurt others or not to give any fear to others. So, killing means giving a fear. Stealing means giving a fear to the owner. And sexual misconduct also giving a fear to the society as well as the other party. And slandering, harsh words, lying, and tale carrying, everything is unwanted creation of suffering, untold suffering in the society due to this negligence in our words. So therefore, knowing that if someone is taking a vow not to give any fear to the other, the Buddha will assuring you, in return, you will get the security of fearlessness. This is the simple answer for the frustration. This is a simple answer for the tension. This is a simple answer for the anxiety. This is a simple answer for the depression. So therefore, if you take the vow not to disturb other psychologies, not to give any intentional fear to the others, you start to feel a kind of membership, kind of a humanity, kind of a citizenship. You feel protected. You feel wherever you go, you feel like among relatives. You feel like among known people. You never feel strange. Because you have no any intention to disturb others. You have no intention to give fear to others in order to maximize your pleasure, in order to maximize your satisfaction. So therefore, moral level, if you are with understanding, if you maintain verbal and physical deeds, immediately in return, not in the next life, in this very life, you start to feel the protected nature, unfearfulness. The Buddha says, those who are breaking precepts have 4 kinds of fears. One thing is, when the darkness happens, people become frightened because their self-curse start to happen. They become, their self-criticism come into being when they become cornered, when the darkness happens, when they become old age, when they become sick. But those who are maintaining the precepts, they don't feel that kind of thing. The second thing is accusation from the others. People will come and say this person is coming from the well-to-do family, but even then he is disturbing the people, and therefore he is not living up to their family standard or social standard life. So that is also one thing when you go out, if you are negligent towards moral precepts. And the third one is one day you will caught up with the civil law. When you keep on doing wrong things, and then you are to go into the court, and the put into the jail, and the prison, and all the punishment. And the Buddhism as such, it is as a fourth one also, if you are leading such an unresponsible life, and morally irresponsible life, after the death it goes to the netherworld, and you have to suffer a lot. And leave aside that, even in this very life, in this very society we can have this, we know this is 3 fears, and these are the real root cause for the frustration. The real root cause for the anxiety, depression. And therefore all the depressions and the anxiety and everything is due to your irresponsibility towards your family members and the society, the members in the society. So diligence at that level asks you, if you need any kind of protection, any kind of a security, that you have to secure others' rights, others' the moral necessities. So this is not Buddhism as such, but the Buddha appreciated it is, if you are protecting others, you will be naturally protected, and that is how your frustration, your tension, your depression will go out. So therefore, if we have any members in our society having the anxiety, having the depression, having the any kind of thing, they must go and help others, give generous activities, loving kindness and the compassion, and help others people in the fear, help others people in the depression, so that you can understand it's an untold suffering in the society by mere irresponsibility and lack of diligence at the moral level. And once that is mastered, you will understand if you are associating immoral people, if you are associating people without any social responsibilities, even though you wish to maintain your precepts, it will be often challenged, often disturbed. So therefore, in order to have a consolidation, in order to have a consistent, you may understand not merely by physical and verbal restraint, you can assure the continuity of your career, continuity of your morality. Then you have to learn how to discipline your mind. That is what the subject of meditation is. Meditation means mind culture, or controlling, sometimes it's called controlling of the mind. I would say training or culturing of the mind. And they are, as far as the Buddhism is concerned, there are two methods. In meditation, it's called samatha and vipassana in Pali, or tranquility meditation or insight meditation. Tranquility meditation means you are focusing on one particular object, something like your breath, or the virtues of the Buddha, or loving kindness, or the generosity action you have done, or the qualities of the Dhamma, whatever may be. You apply the mind again and again and again, so that mind will be mindful, calm and quiet on that particular object, so that as far as mind is within that object, it will not only calm and restrain on the physical and verbal, even the mind become some kind of a tranquility. As far as the mind is face-to-face with the object. And that is what called the samatha meditation. And the Prince Siddhartha, the Buddha to be, he underwent that training. You know, in the 7th day, when his father was doing a ploughing ceremony, he was under the effect of this samatha meditation. And after renunciation also, he went to the other masters and developed this kind of concentration and the mind culture. But even then he found a disadvantage, that is to say, whenever you come out of this concentration, again he succumbed to the same old mental defilements. So that is why he thought this samatha is not enough. So he has to go further. That is how he came out with this insight meditation. In English it is called, in Pali it is called vipassana bhavana. So the mindfulness or diligence is helping you to keep the mind in the present moment, so that it will start mind culture either to the samatha meditation or vipassana meditation. So therefore, present day, specifically in America, is a very dynamic place, because the society has now undergoing a severe changes, because economical collapse and frustration among the younger generation and erosion in the moral responsibilities. Therefore, even the government itself has found their social beneficial cost has gone very high, because unruly younger generation and government has to pay so much. Ultimately they found, whatever may be the religion, if someone is following religious values, it is easy for the government, cheap for the government. So therefore they are promoting, the American constitution is a secular one. You can't go to a religion, but they understood for the last 40 years, due to this secular development, which is leading to the consumerization and the infrastructural and information technology, but the morally standard has gone down. And therefore, a lot of unwanted children and unwanted pregnancy, unwanted leaving out of the schools and unruly social situation. So now that is they are promoting, and they are, it is a coincidence, ultimately they found more than supporting, specifically the scientists, more than supporting a religion, helping mindfulness is not falling to a sectarianism. Mindfulness never come under a religion, even though it is first and foremost prescribed and recommended by the Buddha. It's 2,600 years now. Whenever the mindfulness comes into being, there is no religion. So that is why America, they say in few years' time, it will be the most selling medicine in the medical science. Because the mindfulness is healing all the uncurable diseases, including the heart attack, blood pressure, and the other anxiety-oriented diseases. And therefore the mindfulness is becoming, not only the health counts, but in the neuroscientific way, physics, and the religious areas, and the ethical values. So therefore in the Buddhists, they have a bigger role, because they are, even though whether they know or not, the basic teaching of the Buddha is based on the mindfulness and based on the diligence. So that is why the last word of the Buddha, after the 45 years of heavily duty-bounded kind of a service, appamadena bhikkave sampadena. He says, oh monks, fulfill duties diligently. That's a summing up of his whole teaching. So therefore in the Sunday schools and the temples and the meditation centers, we must at least introduce the basic idea of mindfulness, the basic idea of diligence to each and every individual, irrespective of their religious belief, because mindfulness never contradicts with any other religious values. So one of the scientists in America, they started this mindfulness-based stress reduction program. It's a very common now among the Americans. And John Kabat-Zinn, he has given a special definition from the modern point of view. And of course, it is based upon this traditional values. And in the conference, he has, in a convincing way, he has given a definition for the mindfulness with a whole new scientific meaning. And he is asking His Holiness Dalai Lama, Bhante, is this mindfulness Buddhist? Then Dalai Lama says, no, it is human. It is just human. It is applicable for each and every human. And the thing is, what is the minimum age one can introduce mindfulness into their life? In America, they have done research at the grade 4. That means age of 10. And they continue to introduce this from grade 4 to grade 6. According to my understanding, it is Daniel Brown or something like that. I can't remember the name now. And what they have done is, in order to introduce mindfulness, they have first given the training for the teachers at the grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. And they have asked the children that when the teacher is not at the class, they are fighting each other, they are bullying each other, and they are, irritating each other. I mean, that is the nature of the children. And they have mentioned to the children, if someone is bullying you, if someone is disturbing you, if your mind gets disturbed, you are defeated. If you can keep the mind, your stream of consciousness undisturbed, he is the one going to defeat. It's a simple way of introducing mindfulness. Whatever may be the other person going to irritate you, or disturb you, or bullying you, if you can maintain your mind stream of consciousness undisturbed, then he is the one going to defeat. If you are to lose and get agitated, you are the person to get defeated. And they have repeatedly given this message to the children. At the age of, when they go to the class 6, that means 2 years later, they have given a questionnaire and asked some children, did you get the message and do you have any kind of impact of this? And there had been very little proportion. They says, I really understand it. Therefore, whenever So that kind of uncontrolled situation happened. I don't care about what the other person doing. I try to keep my stream of consciousness undisturbed. And there has been a very nice, very smart girl, and then she has been the best. And ultimately, they have asked that girl, how can you communicate this idea, this concept to your peer group? You have been very efficient and you are very successful. How can they see? Then she told, it is impossible. Those who get, they will get it, otherwise you can't teach it. And then they have pleaded, telling them, don't be so compassionate. Why don't you think about a method to teach that the same idea in a very efficient way to your peer group? Then she said, it is impossible. Those who get the idea will get, others are not. And again they have told that don't be so selfish and think about the method. And she says, impossible. That is why I am telling, I can't communicate. And the teachers asked, can't you give an example or epithet, something. Then she told, due to your pressure, this is the way I can put it. When someone is disturbing me, I just look at his heart, his mind, and I feel a pool with lot of waves. His mind, I feel like a water pool with lot of waves. And he is now trying to infest me. And when I am looking at my heart, it's a still pool, undisturbed. So it's my matter is not to think about him, but to maintain my serenity, not to get disturbed. This is the way I maintain it. And now the teachers are quite confident. And this example, this method of teaching is much more understanding for the children. So they are keep on practicing now, telling someone to, not if you get hurt, if you get upset, if you get disturbed, or in a simple sense, if you get to react, you are the loser. Non-reactional way, unassuming way, is the one way of understanding mindfulness or practicing mindfulness. So when that happens, then there the wave stops. The moment you react, what happens is, first and foremost, your heart or your mind will get agitated, and then the other person is winner, become winner, you are the loser. So this is what we have to practice and see, can we keep our mind still calm and quiet, like a still forest pool, and into meditation. So that is there are 2,600 years or more of tradition to maintain this serenity of the mind. So one way is introducing a very neutral object like breath or something like that. Even the sound comes, even the thought happens, even the bodily pain happens, not to react, but to try to keep as much as possible your mind with that neutral object of breathing. So that is the way you are learning how to keep the track here and now in a non-reactional way, unassuming way. Yet another term coined in America is, they say, choiceless be aware, choicelessly be aware, or choiceless awareness. And some others say, evenly suspended attention, whether it's a negative or positive, you are not reacting. So this is some kind of a theoretical way of presenting this mindfulness or diligence to start with. So I have taken more than 30 minutes now. So shall we practice little on that, or do you have any other more ideas or questions as to what I have mentioned? Audience is very, very distant. No much of a rapport.
Yeah. Talk about mindfulness and how it's good for you and all that. What you mentioned about somebody bullying.
I mentioned few. It is more applicable to the elderly life. Something like lack of frustration, lack of anxiety, lack of this thing kind of. But younger generation still not yet exposed to that. For the younger generation, I can say, as far as you are mindful, the Buddha's definition is chira katampi, chira bhasitampi, sarita anusarita. The Buddha says, if you are mindful, if the mind is not distracted, what you have heard much earlier and what you have done will be clearly remembered without disturbance. That your memory capacity is increasing up to the photostat memory level. If the mind is often distracted, your memory is often fading off. But if your stream of consciousness is more steady, then what you heard and done much before can be vividly, you can remember, like a lucid dreams. So it's one thing. The second thing is, more you're mindful, more you become creative. And the creativity not be distracted, fragmented. It's like a thunderbolt. The mind is unity. So the creativity is increasing. And the mind will keep on working without tiring, as far as you're mindful. But if mind is haphazard and going here and there unruly, you feel so exhausted. You never entertain your job. But if the mindfulness is there, that is why the Buddha, for 45 years, he worked more than 18 hours a day. Inexhaustible. You can't imagine how much of a workload without any complaint it continues. So these things are very important for the children, those who are studying. I am, as a person, I am very, a very poor student. I am not very good. In my family, there are 11 members. I am the 9th. And all the others are very bright cases. They are getting the double promotions and very good. Everyone thought I am to take care of the family farmlands and to do something because I am very low in neatness and studies kind of thing. But anyway, I went to the university and all the kind of thing. But in the university, the second year, I met one of the Australian monk. And when I contact with him, I asked him, I would like to talk with you and be friendly with you and talk about the Buddhism. He told, no use you get out, what is the use of being associated with me? You have temples, you have books and you are born Buddhist. Do as you like. Then again and again I approached him. He told, you Buddhists do not know the basic idea of teaching of the Buddha. You telling you are coming from the Buddhist country. And you will go into the abroad and teach people Buddhism, but you don't know. It was a heavy, considerable challenge for me. Then I told, how the hell you can tell? You are not a Buddhist. Now you are becoming a monk and you are asking me. Then he told, I will let you know, I will teach you, I will prove you are not living up to the Buddha. You don't know the basic message of the Buddha. After 3 days discussion, I asked, what is the teaching of the Buddha then? According to you, practically that is mindfulness, that is the diligence. Do you know it? Of course I don't know. I don't know that is the basic teaching of the Buddha. He told that you claim you are a Buddhist. You claim you are coming from the Dhammajiva or island of Dhamma, that you don't know. Then I keep on challenging him and he asked me, be mindful in the day-to-day activity. Then I told, I am in the university, I have so much of task and kind of thing. So how can I be mindful? And it's a multitask thing. Then you be aware that you are a multitasker. And it took me about 6 to 8 years to understand. And when understanding, he gave me 2 advices. Don't marry. Don't go for a job. But I am living in a very close by place to the university, farming family. I am not much of a burden to my family. So I decided not to marry, not to go to the job. But keep on practicing mindfulness. Then he told, best thing is, after the degree, you go and register in the postgraduate institute and keep on learning. Ultimately, it happened me to do a job because I need some money. So I went to a foreign company in Sri Lanka. You won't believe the way the capacity started to come. I was working with a foreigner and he gave me all the facilities knowing that being a person to be supported, my basic principle was just to be mindful. All the qualities started to come. Till that, I had so much of desire, so much of a necessity to develop it, but everything was suppressed. But once you started the mindfulness, the connection with other people, the language, the communication, and everything started to come. So therefore, you must learn, definitely, you must have your formal education. But while doing, just live. That's what I am telling you. If you are not mindful, you are not living. You are in dreams, you are in the past or you are in the future. But in the mindfulness, you are challenged to live here and now. You are challenged to be diligent to the present world, the green world, the birds and the butterflies and the clouds and the sky, everything. So then onward, everything starts to grow. And the older generation are very serious about mindfulness, but I think they are too late now. Even they become mindful, few days time they will die. Finished. But the younger generation, if they can get the idea, and they can reap a lot of harvest. They can by living happily, and still, if you wish to be an artist, or scientist, or mathematician, or whatever may be, the doors are open. Mindfulness never changes, but it gives you an idea, one thing at a time, and that done with. That's all. For that, 3 methods. First of all, you have to discuss and get the concept. And the second thing is you have to rationalize it and see whether that will going to give any kind of a good benefit in time to come. If it is digestible, if it is palatable, if it is rationalized, then only you will put your effort to practice mindfulness. As far as the practice is concerned, that is why the elderly people wanted me to talk, that you can do sitting meditation, walking meditation, and be mindful in the day-to-day activities. So, as far as the meditation is concerned, many people have a wrong concept. Meditation means sitting like this, go to a meditation hall, and completely take few hours out of your time and doing it. But if you define the term mindfulness, yeah, that is also part and partial, but while walking also you can practice. While you are doing the day-to-day activities also, you can be mindful. So therefore, you have to understand how to develop mindfulness in sitting, how to develop mindfulness in walking, how to develop mindfulness in day-to-day activity. So I recommend even in the Sunday schools, we must teach children to sit at least 15 minutes and to contemplate on whatever the arising as and when arise, to be mindful. And for the elderly people, equally with the children, the most strong recommendation of coming from me is, please try walking meditation. It's a really breakthrough. You just while walking, try to be aware of the touch sensation of the left leg and the right leg on the ground. It appears like a hobby. It is not a regimentation. It is not a kind of a formal thing. It's quite informal. Then, with that idea, in the day-to-day activities also, when you do simple tasks like brushing your teeth and washing your face and going to the toilets and all the country, you can as well be mindful. So when I started, I had no chance to sit. When I asked the Bhante, how to be mindful, he told, select few items in your day's activities that you do by yourself, without the second person. And do it little slowly in order to become self-conscious and try to experience it totally. And first thing he came out with is brushing teeth. Each day you have few minutes all the time. So when you are brushing the teeth, feel the experience, the whole sensations, the peppermint taste and the early morning experience of this thing, and make it a tag each day when you are brushing your teeth. Make a point, I will be as well mindful. And when I go to residential retreats, there was yet another Sri Lankan gentleman, he told, add one more. Whenever you do something in the day-to-day activities, is listen to your own sounds. That's really bring your mind at home. If you are unmindful, if you are not disciplined, lot of rattling noises. You are making a lot of unwanted sounds. But if you try to be mindful, slowly, specifically when you are listening to your own sounds, you will understand you can do it in a very slow manner, in a calm manner, and then it needs little energy, not much of wastage, and the collectedness and the self-consciousness, awareness going to happen. So in the day-to-day activities, you have to SMS slowly, mindfully, silently. You have to send the SMS as much as possible. Slowly, mindfully, silently. So whenever you have a time allocated for yourself, you can practice it. And for the younger generation, the basic golden rule is, when you try to be mindful, don't let others know that you are practicing. If you are going to tell them, it will be a hell of a problem. You have to do it as a secret. That's the one thing my teacher told me, when you are practicing, don't let others know that you are serious about the morality, you are serious about the practice, you just behave like a normal, but whenever you have time, do it in a slow way, mindful way, and silent way, then it catches the ground, slowly. Ultimately what happened is, you are bound to see other mindful people in your society. Once you develop your own internal qualities, you are bound to see other good friends, and then association with such a friends, it is start to catch the momentum. Till that, hide it as much as possible, and then keep on practicing. But coming to a meditation center or sitting, it's quite a formal one. So it must have a huge amount of discipline to go up to that level. But you can practice in the day-to-day activities. Whenever you do your own single things or simple things, do little slowly in order to become self-conscious, and listen to your own sounds and make a determination, as well I will be mindful. So now we have already taken 1 hour. Any more ideas? We have 1 more complete hour. But still I am waiting to listen the sounds from children, voices from children. Sunday school teachers are to be accused. No one is told. Any idea, any suggestion for the next hour? Yes. Oh? Meditate. So that is what I also was thinking. So what I can do is, I will give the basic demonstration and explanation. First, we will go out and do walking meditation for 15 minutes, and we'll come back here. Because now we have already sit for 1 hour, so sitting is no more welcoming. So that means I will take few minutes to explain how to do walking meditation, and once you have finished, you may come here, and then I will give a guided meditation for sitting. Okay? So I am now giving only a briefing about how to do walking meditation. Walking meditation means you try to be mindful while you are in a walking posture, while you are in a walking way. So for that we need a walking path enough for 30 feet, 30 steps. You just go up and down. It must be a level 1 straight area. So if you are to visit traditional Buddhist meditation centers, there are some walking path, professionally prepared and laid down with the half an inch of sand. It's a luxury, it's the best. But here we don't have. But anyway, we can improvise this inside the hall or outside the corridors or the lawn. What you do is, you go and determine this is the area I am going to walk. I am going to practice walking meditation. And with the determination, you stand still. And in a standstill posture, you try to be here and now. I am here, now, standing. And when you taken you see the statue of the Buddha, the standing posture, like that, you stand still and try to bring the attention here, now I am standing. If you manage to bring the attention to the standing posture, that is a good start. Otherwise, mind will wander off and sounds may disturb you and pain may disturb you. If it is so much so stand still. And when the mind comes to body, here now I am standing, then give a green light and just walk that distance, 30 steps, up and down for a few minutes without any kind of meditation, just to get the normal pace, just walking up and down. After the 5 minutes, again you come and take a standing still position, and then focus the attention to the lower part of your body, so that you bind your hand in front of or behind. And then, whenever the right leg is moving, you try to touch, get the touching sensation of the ground. The right leg, and then the left leg, and the right leg, and the left leg. Even the sound happens or vision happens, don't worry, don't react it. Whenever possible, keep the pace with the right leg and the left leg. Don't look at the object directly in front of you, don't look at your feet directly down. Let the eyes to be downcasted, so that you may be observed somewhere around 2 meters ahead of your walking path, and walk up and down. So we will take about 20 minutes. And after the walking meditation, now it is 5 minutes past 10. So we'll be meeting here. Okay, we'll be meeting here at 10:30, 25 minutes. And 10:30, I will take this seat. You also may come and take your own seats. And I will guide you equally in the sitting meditation for another 20 minutes. And we have another 10 minutes for a discussion. Is it clear now? Okay, now we are taking leave and do walking meditation and come back here after 25 minutes. Okay, thank you very much for listening. As we agreed, we had about 20 to 25 minutes of walking. Now we all have arrived back at the vision hall. So we are now going to practice a little bit of sitting meditation in order to develop mindfulness. So for that we have to assume a sitting posture. And the best is depicted by the statue of the Buddha. And he is sitting in such a composed way. And you can see the basement, the foot is completely touching the ground in a triangular shape when you sit in a cross-legged posture. And that is the theoretical maximum. So that is the most established posture. But beginners or the elderly people with the ailments find very difficult to sit in that full lotus posture. But I am just mentioning to tell about the theoretical maximum. And to imitate the same, you may just take whatever may be a comfortable posture and then mildly close your eyes and take the attention to your sitting posture. And see whether you feel symmetrical in the left and the right side. If you are not balanced, please adjust yourself so that you feel balanced in the right side and the left side. And then the second thing is, go through your whole body, the sitting posture, as to see whether there are any muscles tensed or stiff. Relax each and every muscle. Specifically, think about your eyelids. Don't close them tightly. just mildly. And the muscles behind your neck don't get stiff. Just relax it. And the back area, just relax and just feel the relaxation. Symmetrical, relaxed sitting posture, so that we can say, here, now, I am sitting. You find any kind of irritation or imbalance or stiffness or toughness, just relax again and again out of compassion, out of loving kindness, out of friendliness to your body, and try to experience this here, now, I am sitting. Just let the mind to entertain the body, the sitting posture. There are any crossing thoughts, daydreaming, fantasizing, thinking, that means mind is not ready to entertain the present moment, the relaxed sitting posture. If there are any bodily pains, still you are distracted. If there are outside sounds, you are distracted. So therefore, just let the mind to be anchored in this, here now I am sitting, and try to forget about the small sounds, try to forget about the little small pains or feelings and the astray thoughts. Just entertain the present moment, here, now, I am sitting. And entertain even a single thought moment, free from thoughts, free from external sounds, free from bodily pains. That is the thought moment we can say, here, now I am. And that is a simple and single definition for the mindfulness. So it is a possibility, not an impossibility. So once you bring the attention to the here, now I am, try to maintain this thought moment as long as possible. That means you are try to be friendly with your body in a relaxed way, in a symmetrical way, just entertaining your sitting. You try to be with yourself. A radical thought moment, where maybe for the first time in your life, the mind becomes introvert, change inwardly, not going outwardly through eye to see things, not going out from the ear to hear sounds, not going out from the nose to smell, not going out from the tongue to taste, and not going out to the body to change any intentional bodily action. That body is stable, mind is introvert. This is a radical thought moment. Try to maintain it as much as possible with the present moment, with the present sitting posture. Don't worry about the people right around there. Don't worry about the past and the future. Don't worry about the other places in your mind. Be here now, be with your body. But you feel settlement. Settlement of the body, settlement of your mind, and also the settling down of your breath. Become agitated, not become extrovert. Keep in this thought moment, here and now, some people, the life, vital energy, the breath, happen to feel the breathing, experience the breathing, just follow the natural breathing. Don't try to do forced breathing, just follow it. If the breath is not prominent, just be with your body, the sitting posture. Friends, just observe as if someone else breathes. But just following the breathing. Out with thinking, sounds, or due to bodily pains, don't antagonize with them, out, but soon it come back. Try to keep it with here, now, I am sitting. It's a kind of a loving kindness to oneself. It's a kind of establishment of mindfulness for the first time maybe. Body to become calm, when the mind becomes calm, when the breath becomes calm, you may feel and confront with, face to face with the breath. If that is the case, just follow the neutral breathing without forcing. And you behave like a beginner. Don't assume anything. Anything can distract you, but you must be patiently. Breath is not permanent. Just keep the mind with as immediate as possible, as close as possible, as mindful, as diligent as possible. Any adjustments necessary for your body posture, take it easy, relaxed. Adjust yourself, and if possible, to the breath body. Right from the beginning to the end, right from the beginning to the middle to the end, out breath. We have taken about 15 to 20 minutes of sitting, and in that session everyone is simply good. Everyone make use the time. So there are a few minutes now, so that if you all have any question or any vision or thought, or please we'll make use this for a discussion. Possible thing, or is it very impossible or difficult thing to sit for a few minutes? It's okay. So daily you have to be with yourself. Mind you that whenever you open eyes and doing, you are losing to yourself. You are no more with yourself as far as seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, tasting, thinking, you are losing to yourself. So therefore, even if you are going to live 100 years in this earth, on this earth, if you are always extrovert, you don't know who am I. When someone come and ask, who are you? Then you will look up and down. In the meditation only, whenever you come here and now, you understand who am I. But still, answer is not there, but keep on practicing to understand who am I. So therefore, you have to have a certain little time to be with yourself. Otherwise, you are robbing your valuable time from yourself, unless otherwise you be mindful. So therefore, mindfulness is bringing you back at home. And that is only healing point. That's the only living moment. So therefore, take as much as possible. My humble the recommendation is do at least walking meditation. Walking meditation is very easy, not much of regimentation. Just try to be with yourself, normal speed, just pacing up and down. It's a group sitting, it's very, you get the good vibrations. But if you are doing at home, you have to daily sit in the same place so that it becomes familiarized and you will get the good vibration. And if you can associate with other meditative group, it's a bonus. You feel you want to get good vibration. In American terminology, it says good vibes. When you come to a temple and meditative places, you get the good vibes. So that's very healing, that's very helpful. But still I am waiting to hear from the Sunday school children. Anyone can give the Thanksgiving talk? Well, it's a shame for the teachers. What you all are teaching, what you are learning, because that don't know how to express yourself. And appreciate this hour, 2 hours, or blindfold it, whatever maybe. Like to do? Am I punishing you people, or that university we do in ragging? One for your reading back at home, I would like to recommend there's a very nice book known as Power of Mindfulness. It's a very small book written by one of the German monks in the Jnana Konika. and it is available in soft copy, so you can download it and read it. And it give a general briefing about the definition and how to practice, what are the results, benefits for your day-to-day activities, and how much it is related to the teaching of the Buddha. That was responsible about 50% of my becoming a monk. That was the book first time I read and came to know the benefit of mindfulness, and that is why I thought of allocating the whole life for this mindful way of life. So if you have any connection to the Anuruddha, he give the email address, he can give the link so that you can download. And there are a lot of other good books also, but this is a very good one. The neutral book, you can read that came more of what I have mentioned for within this two. And so we have a few minutes, so I would like to listen some of the Sunday school. Come here, they can use the mic.
Taking your time and giving us this 2 hours of valuable time and teaching us your sets of meditation, and I think we all will follow. And again, I'd like to thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Bhante, so much. And Madhu, for Bhante, so that all the very best and a very long life, so that he can come again and again and teach us here. So that by the time, most of our Sunday school and all of you will be grown up as well, so you can come. The other thing is that if there's anybody who's going to Sri Lanka at any time, you're welcome to visit Bhante's Forest Monastery. It's supposed to be a very nice place. I mean, I'm going to go this time. I have not been there either, but I was told it's a very nice place. With a lot of trees, lots of water flowing underneath it. That's very close to Avisaville. Kirindivala. It's not too far. Put it in your itinerary this time when you're going to Sri Lanka. And for our Burmese devotees also, you can go to Sri Lanka and visit. So again, so thank you again for coming as well. And if there's anybody who's interested in donating any money for the upkeep of the temple in Sri Lanka, the Forest Monastery, you're most welcome to write a check or...
Even if we have a discussion.
Okay. Yes, the other thing is that at 1 o'clock today, there's a discussion, Dhamma discussion. So if there's anybody who's interested in attending that, you're most welcome. And for the parents, or if there's anybody else who are old enough, if you all want, I mean, not necessarily the very young, older, since your school is also finished now, if you want to continue in the long-term course, there's a course going on from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. But it will give you don't necessarily have to stay the entire day, but you can come and go, as long as you can come in between, when one course finishes, so that you don't disturb. One who's leaving right now at 11, so please make sure you observe normal sign. Or come for the next courses from tomorrow onwards. You're most welcome to do that as well. So please say another sadhu to our Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.